All right, ladies and gentlemen, lights, camera, action. The Bambino has started the Samsung phone, and let's welcome to the fray Josh Taylor, KDKA TV2 93.7 The Fan, Schenley grad, grew up in the Hill District. Give me a little high five on that, or low five. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm scared.
I know. We were talking earlier about Bruno Sammartino. I found out that he went to St. Regis Elementary, where your dad and Mr. Marino went, as in Dan Marino's dad, Larry Richards' father-in-law, which is a great thing. And I tell the story of friends of mine who went to St. Joseph Catholic in New Brighton. Danny Marino was a fifth grader, and he throttled them for like 8 touchdown passes. To this day, it's folklore, ladies and gentlemen. But talk about Schenley, and it was always one of my favorites, and I'm a big fan of city schools. It's no longer with us, but a lot of history there, huh?
There's a lot of history to it. There's a lot of pride to it. You run into a lot of another Schenley grad, and there's just this shared understanding of you get what the standard is. And it's funny because I have relatives that went to other schools and I have cousins. They say, "You Schenley kids thought you were better than everybody else," and we look at them like, "Yeah,
we were."
But the thing that made Schenley great was that it wasn't just the alumni, it just wasn't the people that were there. You're talking about kids that came from all over the city. You had the different magnet programs. Me personally, I was in International Studies and Center for Advanced Studies, CAS kid. So I was taking scholars level classes and I was taking Japanese. I was there for a specific program, but there were kids from other sides of the city whom I would probably never run into at my own neighborhood school. Went to school with kids from Mount Washington and East Liberty and Beachview and all kinds of different places. So you had a really big melting pot in the city with kids of every different neighborhood, every kind of ethnicity, and it taught you really in a more of a school setting what real world life was like. So you had a better perspective when you walked out, and there was an understanding amongst each other with the teachers that you had, the programs that you had. You had a great education, but you also made friends that you might not have made if you stayed in your neighborhood and went to your own school. And it was such a different dynamic there. But then you see some of the alumni, the Bruno Sammartinos and the Andy Warhols and Larry Brown, who played for the Washington Redskins. Then you have Kenny Durrett. Now you have DeJuan Blair, DJ Kennedy. You hear about those guys now, but there are so many different people that don't always get talked about that had such a great impact too. Guys like Bill Nunn. So you have so much of a different variety of not just athletes, not just actors, but you have people from all different walks of life. And Reach Babonis Sr., who was a longtime reporter, one of the first black television reporters in this city, was Schenley grad. You have so many people from so many different backgrounds and in so many different areas of our current society that have made footprints there. So knowing that is part of the legacy, and you learn that early when you walk through the halls and see some of the old alumni pictures. You're like, oh my God, that's so-and-so's class picture. So it does kind of add to the element of it all, and it kind of creates that sense of pride that all Schenley grads, even though the school's been closed for almost 10 years, we still have it to this day.
Great memories when it comes to City League sports. You think of great teams like Westinghouse and what they did. I mean, Fifth Avenue, Oliver, Brashear.
Dad was a Fifth Avenue grad. Dad and Mom argued about basketball a lot.
Man, that would have been so awesome to go to City League schools.
And they were there in the 70s.
Couple Stadium, I still get tears thinking about a beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon, and you hear the whistle blowing, and you only can imagine what's going on behind the wall. So a lot of history. Great to have you here. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Inside the wall in your case. Wasn't that the prison?
Let me in.
Yeah, right.
Let me in. No, sir, I'm sorry. You're not paroled yet. Let's talk NFL draft coming up. That's really what was driving most of the show today. The consensus is the Steelers are going to go after an inside linebacker.
I'm thinking the same thing. I would not be surprised if they also look safety. Justin Reed's a name that's been brought up a lot. He's a guy that's actually visited the Southside facility. Now, they only talked to 3 safeties on the South Side, but they brought in like 8 linebackers, which is twice as much as any other position group. So you'd figure, if anything, and if you've paid attention over the years, guys they bring in for visits, guys they talk to at dinner on their pro days, those are the guys they usually lean toward. So 8 inside linebackers brought in. They're probably leaning inside linebacker, but if maybe not one of the guys they like, it could be a Justin Reed, maybe a safety too. So.
All right, we switch now to hockey. Don't let him up. Finish him today in Philadelphia. Forget about Game 7. We don't need that.
I always remember what Crosby said when he was younger. The most fun thing about hockey was going into a hostile arena and then quieting the crowd. Hopefully they do that today, because you don't want to let this team hang around. The more you play them, the more bruised up you're going to get.
Pirates, look. Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Just because they lose multiple games and they're a half game out of first place, it ain't over yet. Trevor Williams hopefully stops the bleeding today in Cincinnati, Citizens Bank Ballpark, 135, 93.7 The Fan. or rather Philadelphia, and then of course they're back in Pittsburgh on Tuesday to take on Detroit. Greg.
Well, one thing we get to get healthy with the Detroit Tigers coming in the middle of the week, so that's going to be a help for
Always a
you.
good thing.
You got to stay
Always.
away from that middle part of their bullpen's killing those middle innings. They just they're getting decent starting pitching. I always want to still call him Rivero. He struggled a little bit yesterday, but
I got it right for the first time today. I called him Vasquez and actually got it right. It's been 2 weeks.
I called him Suarez the other day for I don't know where that one even came from. But it's interesting just to see if they can get that part of themselves straightened out. This would be early in the year, if there is such a thing as a big game. This could be a big game to get them kind of back on
Go
track.
ahead, John.
When you have this kind of homestand, 6 games, especially we got St. Louis on the back end with those 3 games, winning a game like today is also huge because it gives you a little bit of momentum coming back and facing a team like Detroit that you took 3 from at their yard to start the season. You try to take 2 from them, really build some momentum, maybe win 3 out of 4 before you face St. Louis, a division rival coming into town.
I can't believe we talked Shenley and we did not talk about the most famous athlete to ever come out of Shenley. A great caller of mine calls regularly, actually dated him in high school at Shenley. You know who that is, don't you? Come on, guys. You're
did?
Maurice Lucas.
Maurice Lucas.
Fadeaway J. Lucas. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, check him out on TV. Check him out on the radio. Tell everybody when you're on 93.7 The Fan.
93.7 The Fan, Saturdays 9 to 11 for Bucko Talk. Also Sundays 7 to 10 for the Sunday Morning Grind. Also, by the way, sitting in with the morning show this week, Thursday and Friday, with Colin and Jim, 5:40 to 10 a.m. on 93.7. So we'll be here grinding it out.
Anything going on in your life?
So much I can't tell you. It would take too long.
How about you? Draft, Vantage
Got the
Manager.
draft this week, so we'll be a little bit busy with Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we'll have some news to report on Sunday with the show.
All right, if I'm not talking home improvement or teaching you how to cook or maybe, solving all of your medical problems, I kind of talk sports every once in a while too. Just be looking for me appearing at a radio station near you, as in KDKA Radio, the pioneer broadcasting station of America. And being that I'm a big fight fan, Sylvester Stallone, Jack Johnson, Mr. President, give the man a pardon. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Jack Johnson, truly one of the greatest sports figures of all time. And that's a fact. Good afternoon.